Good morning. It's the day after my webinar. I hope you had a chance to tune in last night, but if not, I'm going to roll the video into this video after I give you my little intro. As I was editing the video, to cut off the beginning and all that whole we'll get started in a little bit spiel, I realized that I wanted to give you a little bit of an intro. So here's the intro. Digital Domination, 6 Weeks to Social Media Success, is the course that I shared with the webinar participants last night. The course is designed to get you from a digital novice to a digital native. I want to make sure that 2016 is the best year ever for your brand online, whether it's selling yourself, selling your products, or selling your packages. I grew this business kind of from scratch, from word of mouth, from clients that I've worked with for a long time, and I want to teach you how to do the same for your business. I want to teach you how to find the influencers, grow your brand, and get hired. It's not hard. It just takes a plan and systems, which is something you'll learn about in the webinar. That's why today's video, I'm going to chop this and put it on Facebook, but if you go to my website, which will be in the caption, the link will be in the caption, you can see the whole video, or if you're signed up for my list, you'll get this in your inbox later today. I hope that you take me up on my offer. So even though maybe you weren't in the webinar, but we're friends because you follow me, you like my posts, so I'm going to give you the offer. I'm going to give you the offer that I gave away in my webinar, which is my 6-week course for $9.97. It usually it sells for $19.97, but I want to give everybody the chance to get into this course. There's a payment plan. There's plenty of options we can talk about, but I know what it was like to get started, and I want to make sure that it's affordable for you, but it's so full of information that I also want to touch base with you. So the best part about it is if you take me up on this offer, I will add in a year of monthly webinars and or calls, so that we can check in and make sure that you are following the digital domination method and growing your brand. If you follow my method, you will grow your brand. You will get more engagement. You will get more fans. But I want to make sure that the general tips that I give are tailored to you and that you succeed. So take me up on my offer originally I said I was going to extend this offer for 24 hours. But what I thought about was that it was the GOP debate last night, so maybe people didn't get a chance to see it, and my post probably got drowned out by the roar of the internet. So I'm going to extend this offer to December 31st. And I'm going to talk about it in my daily Vixes. I'm still going to give you the great free tips that you've been coming to me for, and the free worksheets, and the information that I'm known for. But I am going to remind you that if you sign up for Digital Domination by December 31st, you will get access to me for 1 year, for free calls once a month. So the $9.97 offer does expire tomorrow, but everything else, the bonus that I gave away on the webinar, the bonus will stand. So if you have questions, email me, hello@CreatiVix Media, and I'll get back to you. I can't wait to learn more about your brands and see how we can support you in 2016. Okay, I hope you enjoy the webinar. That's on my website or coming up right after this clip, depending on where you're watching this video. Have a great day. Bye. Hi guys, we're going to get started shortly. I just wanted to get everything ready. So you'll see that you're viewing this in a window because I'm presenting it through Google Slides, and it just makes it a lot easier for me to engage with you guys and also stay on top of the questions. So I'd love for you to put in the chat where you're dialing in from and the one thing you want to do with your brand in 2016. I'm going to get started with my email and let you know what I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys tonight. We're going to get started in a few minutes. I just want to give everybody a chance to get connected. Hi everyone, I see everyone's starting to come on to the webinar, so just tell me where you're from in the questions and what you want to learn tonight, and we'll get started shortly. I just want to give everybody a few minutes and then we'll get ready. I'm really excited to share this with you guys, so I can't wait. Tell me where you're from and tell me a little bit about your brand in the comments so that I can get a sense of what you're looking for. We'll be doing Q&A later on, but this will be a good way to get started. So shoot me a note in the comments and say where you're from and what you're looking to get started with your brand this year. Hi everybody, we're just getting ready to get started. We're going to get started shortly. I just want to give everybody about 5 minutes to get on the webinar so that we can get started and get sharing. I'm really excited. Tell me where you're from and what you want to do with your brand this year in the comments. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited. This is going to be good. I'm going to get started at about 7:01. I just want to give everybody maybe 7:05. I just want to give everybody a chance to, get connected and get ready to go. So don't forget to put your questions, comments, concerns in the comments box below. And then we'll get started. And don't forget to turn your volume up. If you highlight the video window, you should see an option to increase your volume. So just make sure that that is turned on so you can hear me. And yeah, we're going to get started really shortly. We're going to get started shortly. Hi, everybody. If you're just joining, we're going to get started shortly. I just wanted to give everybody a few minutes to get on the webinar. I know it's a Tuesday night, so I'm sure a lot of people are just getting home from work. So just hang in there. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes. And yeah, I'm really excited for this. I can't wait to show you what I've created for you. And I'm going to answer all your questions at the end of the webinar. So just put them in the comments box and we'll get started from there in a little bit as we get through the presentation. It's a really jam-packed presentation, so I want to make sure that I can teach you as much as possible in the time we have together, because I know you guys are busy, so I don't want to waste anyone's time. It's really important to me that we maximize the time we have. So stay tuned. We'll get started about 7:05. I just, again, want to give everybody a chance to
get connected, get settled, and don't forget to have some water near you. I have some water. So, I want you guys to be comfortable and enjoy this. Jeffrey, I see you put a comment in there, which is awesome. Thank you. General knowledge right now is definitely where we're going with this. This is going to kind of cover some of my favorite tools, my favorite tricks, things that I think will really help everybody get connected and share better, share more in the new year. So hang in there. We're almost ready to get started. Like I said, 7:05. I just want to give everybody a few minutes to get connected and get settled. Hi, Alda. Thank you so much for sharing all of my tweets and stuff. I'm really excited. I'm glad you're joining from Jersey. I know it's New Jersey, but I'm a born and bred New Yorker, so I say Jersey. I can't wait to talk to you guys. And Jessie Lynn, I see you. Yay! I'm really excited for you guys to connect with me. And we're going to talk about, some quick and easy ways for you to build your brand. Again, I mentioned this at the top of the presentation, but I just wanted to explain why you're going to see this in a window. I'm presenting this through Google Slides, and I'm actually going to share a little bit more about my journey to a webinar after this presentation, because I figured out some best practices this week that I think you guys will really benefit from. But I was going to do a little bit of a video, but you're probably sick and tired of seeing me, because I'm sick and tired of seeing me. So, you watch my daily Vixes, which I'm very grateful for, but I figured this was a better way. We can go straight into the presentation and really give you guys the most the maximum that you can get from this. Hey, Anne from Chicago. I'm so excited. I like your question. And hi, Janet from Staten Island. Thank you for your comments. I'm really excited to share with you guys my thoughts on downloading. Oh, that's a good question, Anne. I'm going to save that for when we get through the presentation. But again, I see you guys writing, and I'm really excited. And like I said, we're going to get started in about 2 more minutes. Just give me one. Yeah, we'll get started in about 2 more minutes. I just, like I said, want to get everybody situated and settled, and then we're going to be good to go. So hang in there, and I can't wait to share this presentation with you. I'm really, really excited. Can you tell? Have I said I'm excited enough? I love building digital brands, and I think that if you really love it, if you're really passionate about it, I actually saw an Instagram quote this morning. Being passionate about something is what makes it fun more than a job. So that's what I really want you guys to really feel about building your digital brands. All right, I think we're going to get started. So here we go. Okay, I'm really, yay, first webinar. Hooray, hooray. All right, here we go, guys. So I want you to shut off your phone, turn off your computer notifications, give your kids to your spouse, put the dogs away, give them a Kong, give them some kind of treat to keep them occupied. This is going to be a really full hour. And I want to make sure that your complete and total attention is here, because I think it's really important, to absorb as much as possible. I have turned off my computer notifications as well. So that really, it does help you stay connected. It's time to get digital, which is my favorite thing to say these days. I'm Vix. Most of you know me. You've either watched my videos, you know me personally, maybe you met me through Facebook, or because somebody shared this link with you and told you to join me. I've worked on a lot of cool things. So far, the best project I've done is CreatiVix Media. It's my digital agency that I founded on the fact that anyone can do social media. You just need a plan and a system. Most of what I know, most of my best practices come from what I taught myself, by watching others, by literally copying what was done step by step until I could figure a Vix or two for whatever seemed to be working at that point in time. I worked in editorial, in TV, at a large digital agency, with celebrities, students, and entrepreneurs. You name it, I've done it. But we're not here to talk about that. And if you want to learn more about that, you can go to my page. I'm here to show you what tools and methods I use to dominate digital media, and why I created a course to teach people how to do just that. Digital Domination is my new course, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. But I started to realize that a lot of people really needed help on a larger scale, and that's kind of how I created it. It's a 6-week course. It's packed into a lot of things, but let's get digital now, because I think it's really important to share all the tips and tricks I have with you. So here we go. The average person, I found some stats because I really like data. The average person spends more time on devices than they do asleep, an extra 20 minutes per day. 28% of that time is spent on social networks. Adults spend 11 hours with digital media. In 2014, we're almost in 2016. So presumably we spend a little bit more time. How do you grab their attention for that 28% of the time online? How do you make sure that your post, that your website, that your link is what they click on? I can't believe that we spend this much time online. I was actually shocked. It, as I like to say, scared the hashtag out of me. But we're overloaded with this information, and yet sometimes we still struggle with the best way to connect with people. I think that for me, the most important thing is to plug into the matrix without losing your mind. I want to talk about this number. What does 11 hours on digital media mean for your brand? It means you should be searchable. This is the first tip that I'm going to give you right away. Do you own your first name, your last name.com or some variation of that? For example, I own victoriaraytano.com and vixraytano.com. If you don't own that, write this down right now. If people can't find you online, it's like you don't exist. Go to GoDaddy. GoDaddy is my preferred vendor for URLs and web hosting. There are hundreds of services out there. And in today's webinar, I'm going to tell you about my favorite because I've tried most of them, if not all of them. And what I like most about the ones that I've tried is that they work for anybody, for everybody. They work for people who have a great understanding of the web and the internet and how digital works. And they also work for people who maybe are just getting started. And I know that because I was just getting started at one point, and that's when I did most of my tests. If you don't own your own name, it's so easy to do. It's so easy to get, and you can put up a single one-page website up there. It's really, really important just for search in general. The other thing that you should own is your company name. Even if your company name has nothing to do with your personal name, you should own both. And there's some of the things we can talk about in another training session about how you can redirect the pages to one another. But it's important because you don't want someone else to ever squat on your brand. Think of your brand as your house. Would you want anyone to have the keys to your house? No, of course not. Because you'd want people who are going to have the keys to your house to come in and treat it the way you would treat it. So you don't want someone to put a website that doesn't align with your brand on your domain. The tricky part is if you have a name that's fairly common. I'm lucky. My name is not that common. But if you have a name that's common, maybe use your middle initial or use something that identifies you. For example, I also own vixraytano.nyc and .nyc. There's a whole bunch of other new domain names that you can use if you want to have a little bit of a variation. .tv is one that was popular a little while ago. But either way, I think that you have to own your name because you want to be found. Own it and put something up. A one-page website does wonders for discoverability. So now you own your name, right? What about those other 11 hours? And 28% of that time comes out to about 2 hours. When they're on social networks, what do you do next? Well, there's always a little tech difficulty. You have to secure all of the social channels. So this is the 5-step process that I like to do when building a new brand or rebranding. So for example, when I went from Journalista to Vix in the City, you create a new Gmail address for each handle that you want to reserve. Secure the URL if that's something that you think. I think it's necessary for all. There's certain instances where you wouldn't do that, but let's just generally say you would secure the URL. Then you could secure alternative URLs. Up to 2 is usually great. Secure the big 3. I'm going to talk a lot about the big 3, which I refer to as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You want to secure your handles that are as close to your URL as possible on those channels. And that's why you create a new Gmail address, because to set up a new Twitter or Instagram, you need to have a separate email address that isn't connected to any other Twitter or Instagram. So that's why it's important to have the Gmail address. Also, it just keeps your inbox really clean, which is something we'll talk about later. Then secure Tumblr and YouTube. Tumblr and YouTube are great to have. When I'm reserving for a new brand, or really like when I'm placeholding for clients, because usually I come in to clean up things or streamline them, I start by creating a Gmail with the brand name or as close as I can get. And I always use that because then it keeps everything in one place. This process can be replicated for any company or brand you're thinking of starting, but shouldn't be used lightly. You shouldn't create a new digital brand for every product, only new entities that have nothing to do with one another. So let's say that you're a fitness instructor, or you're doing network marketing and let's say you're selling Isagenix, but then you also decide you want to sell something else. I wouldn't create a URL. I would create 2 different URLs for that, but I wouldn't create a different URL if you're going to start doing, let's say you do Pilates one-on-one, and then, you also do SLT classes, which is a Pilates course in the city. Those are so similar that you don't have to do that. A better example of that is if you are, let's say, like an entrepreneur selling coaching programs. You may want to get a URL for a course, but you don't necessarily want to get a URL and social handles for every package you're doing. Also, if you create a new URL for a course, you probably don't want to get a new URL for a new social handle for that course, because it dilutes the message. The way that you get the most chatter online and the most engagement is by being the loudest for that particular brand or hashtag. So if you're trying to create new products, you want to make sure that you don't dilute the message. Okay, we're going to get into terms, because I know I just threw a bunch of terms at you. So are you ready to understand what handles and different URLs and segmented groups means? Here we go. We're going into that next. These are some terms you should know. There are literally thousands of more terms that I could tell you about, but these are the main ones you need to know. Don't worry about writing them down, although if you really want to screenshot them, you totally can. But remember, you're getting a recording of this, and I created a PDF for you guys with all the definitions for these terms. There's 20 of them because I like when things match. So or when it's an even number, which is another weird thing that I'll talk about when we get to content. So a lot of these terms are general terms that everyone uses, but some of these terms are terms that I created to communicate with designers, my clients, team members, people that I work with. For example, quote card. That's a term that I came up with because there was really no easy way to describe that. So here we go. Is this something, would you like this? I think that you guys are going to really like this PDF. I'm going to go through all these terms just because I think they're really important. There's some more terms at the end, and we can talk a little bit more about that. This is what I like to call thinking about the human element of social media. It's social media. We're social creatures. But more often than not, people forget that there are real people on the other end of these machines. So, for example, if I had just thrown this slide at you and ran over it quickly, you're not going to really absorb it. That's why I created a PDF. This is a heavy information slide, an information-packed slide. So we're human and we forget things, but this is something that you want to come back to. So I'm going to go through these through my script because otherwise I will forget all of them. So bear with me if it sounds a little rehearsed, because I'm all about doing things my own way, and I don't want this to be like any other presentation you've ever experienced. I really want you to understand my teaching style and why my clients like working with me, because I want you to be an invested partner. I don't just want you to be somebody who is dragged around by their iPhone. So content is anything you create. From emails to social media posts to scripts to one-page PDFs to blogs and videos, content is what moves the internet forward. Content series. A content series is the Daily Vix. It's a consistently created type of content following one or more themes. Social digital media campaign. This is a series of social media posts with or without a digital media component. It usually announces a new product, launch of a product or company, or an event. Or an event that you want to share with other people. For example, share a Coke. Do you guys remember that campaign? It was the one where it featured commercials, social media influencers, and press coverage to announce the new type of Coke can that the company was debuting. A Facebook fan page. So everyone has a Facebook personal profile. A Facebook fan page is a page that you can create through your personal Facebook profile. A fan page is great for your companies, and if you are a personality, for your personal brand. Why is this important? Facebook pages can only tag other pages, and the day you get on the Today Show, you want them to be able to tag you, something they can't do if you've only got a personal Facebook profile. That's why I have the Vix in the City page, because if I get on the Today Show, I want to be tagged. I mean, I think that's an important message. A handle is the name you use online. Anything that follows the @ symbol on Twitter or Instagram and after the / in Facebook. So it's a Facebook address. That's a handle. Handles are used to tag brands or people if it's a Facebook fan page in posts. An asset. This is one that I use a lot, and I often forget that people don't know what this means. An asset is any image, photo, link to a web page, or graphic that you're using with a piece of digital content. Often, and I think you guys got this, my editorial content calendar will feature a column for assets, because when you're batch scheduling, you want to make sure that all of your links are in the right place, and you should be using short links so that you can track them, which we'll talk about. But that is the definition of an asset. Now, a little different. A graphic is any image, icon, or logo, or combination of the three used to represent a brand, product, or service. So your logo is different from any asset. Any asset can be so a graphic can be an asset, but an asset is not always a graphic. See why I made a PDF for this? Because it is confusing, and it's something that digital natives tend to know and use, but there's no reason that you shouldn't be a digital native. If you follow these steps, you will be a digital native in 2016. An infographic. So an infographic is information displayed in graphic form. It has different kinds of icons and pictures and logos in some cases, and it's a really great way to explain information without a lot of words. A meme is any image with words on it that usually has a sarcastic or ironic tone. A GIF, and yes, you say GIF like the peanut butter, is a moving image on a loop that is also often ironic or sarcastic. Both of these breathe personality into your brand and allow you to showcase your lighter side. I love a GIF. If you guys go to my personal Facebook page, because GIFs only work on Facebook, on personal Facebook pages. On brand profiles, they're starting to work. They're slowly rolling them out, but you actually have to press play like a regular video. They don't autoplay. A lot of people are doing #mood these days, and I've shared that a few times on both Twitter and Facebook, and it's just fun. GIPHY.com is a great website to find GIFs to explain your mood. I'm a big fan of the Tina Fey high-fiving a million angels. It works in a lot of situations. Also Beyonce, because who doesn't need a Beyonce GIF in their life? This is the big one, because I interchange these and I want to apologize. I have a very interesting definition for digital media versus social media, but I think once you hear this, you'll understand why I interchange them. Digital media refers to everything about you and your brand on the internet. Social media refers to everything about you and your brand on social media networks like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You need to have a solid presence on both to capture your tribe. The 3 Ps: PSD, PNG, PDF. PSD refers to a Photoshop design file. It's a file format and how many refer to the editable asset. Graphic designers and videographers will often ask for this version of your logo or graphic. PNG is a portable network graphic image file that's supposed to replace GIFs. Essentially, what I use PNGs for is places where I don't want them to have a background, and they can be edited in Photoshop as well. And a PDF is a Word doc that you can edit. Usually it's a little bit formatted and has some pretty icons connected to it, but essentially it's a Word doc that you can edit. I'm not a graphic artist, so, to me, these terms maybe are not technical, but these are the ways that I have designated them in my brain, and it's really easy when you're trying to talk to other people about things if you do that, if you have designations and kind of share the language with them. A curator is someone who finds the best content on the web and shares it with their fans. You are all curators. A creator creates content and assets to share with fans and friends. You are all creators. Quote card: an image with words and or hashtags on it, not a meme, because it usually is an inspirational quote or a direct quote of the person pictured. Hashtags are social networks filing system. Hashtags group content together to provide a feed dedicated to one theme or idea. They are now cross-platform: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can use hashtags on every platform. The one little interesting tip that you should know: on Facebook, hashtags, if you use a double hashtag, it won't render. So you won't see it. You can't share it twice. So if you share like hashtag DailyVix, you can only share that once. And yes, Alda, you will be getting the PDF later today. And there will be a recording, just to remind everybody. I'm going through the questions. We're going to talk a little bit more about launching on social. I think we kind of covered that in the beginning, but again, we'll go into that a little bit more, Michelle. Okay, we're going to go back to this because I want to get through the rest of these because I know they can be a little heavy. Next is the embedded content. This is an interesting one because sometimes it's hard to understand why content does better when you embed it natively. And we're going to talk about native next. But embedded content is content you put directly into a post. It's a video, photo, or link. Could also, video, photo, or link. There's other things it could be, but just keep it to those three for now. Native posting scheduling. Native refers to staying in the social network environment. For example, Facebook. If you schedule a post on Facebook natively, your engagement will be higher. This is not true for all networks. Instagram, for example, there are apps out there, and I'm a big proponent of them, and we'll talk about them in another few slides. But native posting is better because Instagram sometimes can block you if you do too many scheduled posts. It just depends on how engaged you are natively as well. Inbox zero, when your inbox reaches 0 messages because they have all been filed, also known as nirvana. An influencer is someone with a large social media following that can be tapped to help your product, service, or brand reach a larger following and be exposed to a new client base. Michelle, this is definitely something that you would want to look into. Connecting with influencers in your space by searching common hashtags is a great way to make sure that you are engaging in native environments and in a way that brings new people to the table without alienating your current followers. It also helps you organically find followers. So I used hashtag social media and I was able to find a lot more followers. I've done this with gluten-free and with a lot of my clients' brands. So that's a really great way to connect with people and grow your following organically. All right, we're ready. Next slide. I figured it was time for a little levity. So, as Joey Tribbiani says in Friends, how you doing? You feeling overwhelmed? Do this really quick. Stand up, sit right back down, shake out the wiggles, and we'll move on in a second. These terms are a lot, I know, but this is the most comprehensive list I could find on the internet. I had to create it. It's how I explain things to clients and colleagues when they ask. And remember to keep adding your questions. I'm looking at them, but again, I want to make sure that I am am focused on what I'm saying. So, Anne, your question about, because of course I never do anything the way I say I'm going to do it, so I am going to answer some questions now. Anne, your question about a meme when it's inspiring found on Pinterest. Technically, they're all memes, but I find it's easier when I want people to create something to call it a quote card, because you can create a template for a quote card. If you're looking to do it online, meme would definitely be something to search for. Thank you, Jessie. I just saw your comment and I love it. All right. I'm really excited also, side note, that the GIF is actually playing. So props to Google Slides for making this work. Here we go. A plan and the systems to manage it. This is me in my girl boss office. This is one of my favorite photos from my shoot with one of my really good friends who's a photographer. You got to keep your people connected. So we've covered plans a lot in the Daily Vix recently. Live by the plan, love the plan, be the plan, people. Yes, I went to Catholic school, as you all know. So the plan is something I learned to love years ago, but it wasn't until I started working full-time and side hustling that I realized how valuable it could be. I will never tell you in a training, in a conversation, I will never ever tell you in a Daily Vix, I will never tell you to do something I haven't already done and tested. So even though this seems like a lot, don't worry. I've tried it and it works, even if I'm not being 100% as strict as I should be. We're human. Remember I said we'd talk about that more? Working at an agency showed me that digital media strategists, the people who write most of the tutorial content out there, forget that we're all human. We make typos and mistakes. We have kids to feed, dogs to play with, friends to see. We have businesses to build and empires to maintain. We have to shower. And I don't know about you, but most of the things I listed above, I like to do without my phone, especially a shower, because iPhones are really expensive. Give me a yes in the comments if you have a little heart attack every time your iPhone magically gets wet, when it's raining, or if you're brushing your teeth and checking messages. Not advisable. So when I went to the gym years ago, my advice to friends on my system for managing my full-time gig, because I don't go to the gym anymore, I soul cycle. If you follow me, you know that. And the system that ultimately did get me to where I am today with a few Vixes was my system was read all your content on the elliptical. But you know what? I didn't get in shape that way and felt mentally drained all day. So instead, I started reading the New York Times on the elliptical and my favorite blogs and newsletters, and I felt lighter. The plan is staying up to date and getting ahead with your social media shares and digital content like blogs, so you can get back to the work you need to do for your company. Whether that's teaching Pilates classes, or running a business, or starting a legal practice with a physical fitness business on the side. These businesses take time, but you also have to be visible to online to find clients. The plan sometimes will fail, just like my original plan. But if you have a system to implement it, it will succeed. Here's a quick overview of my system. I'm going to show you the tools, which are these: Hootsuite, Schedulegram, Iconosquare, TweetDeck, Sprout Social, Tagboard, Grammarly, OneTab, and Pocket that I use, and my digital toolkit. Are you ready for my digital toolkit? Because it's coming at you and it's pretty awesome. This is what I use on a day-to-day basis. Every day, I use Google Apps, Dropbox, my iPhone, like I'd be dead without my iPhone, my iMac, iCloud, MacBook Air, Basecamp, Sprout Social, and my Lacey external hard drive. I do a lot of video work. So, I think that the words that I like to use for this is digital media domination, just because, who doesn't like the word digital media domination? It makes me feel like Zuckerberg and @Jack, the founders of Facebook and Twitter, respectively, are bowing down to my digital Beyonce. I like to visualize things when I'm feeling stressed. Sue me, you guys. Visualizations help me move forward, and I hope that helps you too. So I've tested a lot of these systems. These are the ones that work best. Basecamp is a great way to keep track of your projects. Sprout Social, once you're ready to spend money on a social program, because this is $99 a month, is a great way to really connect with what's being shared by your brand and about your brand. The best part about iCloud and Dropbox is that these things can be updated on the go. And a lot of times, I do that. I'm out and about and I have to update things. And that's why I use Basecamp too, because I keep all of my URLs and all my social shares in there so that if I have to share really quickly, I can. Copying and pasting is the way that you save time, and it's really important to do this. I'm going to look, plans make everything possible. This is pretty much my favorite slide. I'm going to look in here really quickly. I'm just going to look at the questions because I want to answer them. And that's why I don't use Hootsuite anymore, because Hootsuite does a watermark it. So Anne's question is, scheduling with things like Hootsuite looks obvious on LinkedIn, making it look obviously scheduled. Does it look more organic when using Twitter and Facebook? When I explained earlier, I said, Twitter and Facebook, you have to make sure that you have to share natively. Twitter, you can schedule. Sprout Social doesn't put it in there. Sprout Social doesn't say like scheduled via Sprout. And that's why I don't use Hootsuite anymore for my personal brands. I don't really recommend scheduling on LinkedIn. I think it's really important to schedule that natively. But we can talk about that at a different point if you'd like. Okay. And yes, Dropbox is awesome. And Basecamp is really great. I did used to only use it at work too, Ida, but I realized that it was really helpful for me. So if I was using it at work, why shouldn't I use it at home? So, there are thousands of tools that you can use, but these are the ones that I like. And I also, another little surprise for you guys, the tools that I put on this, I'm going to go back one slide just so you can see it. Or two slides. These tools, I created a PDF for you guys because I think it's really important to give you definitions for those too. And you can learn a little bit more about why I like them. One thing that I do want to talk about, because I don't want to get too bogged down in this before we get to the other good stuff, is that Grammarly is the best app on the web. It's a Chrome plugin. I believe it also works on Firefox, and it has an app, and it's awesome. So you should use it. It checks everything, every box that you fill out. It checks your grammar and your spelling, and it's awesome. It makes sure that everything looks really polished. Okay, so we're going to go back to time-saving techniques to navigate the noise. That's what we're going to talk about. I studied history in college because I thought it would make me a better writer, and it did. It made me remember quirky facts and helps me turn a phrase in a unique way. But that doesn't mean that I don't have to read the newspaper now and then or read a book, because you still have to keep learning. This is how I came up with the system to navigate the noise that is social media. Social media is a hum, a drumbeat, a constant steady stream of information. How do you navigate it? By finding 5 people you want to be when you grow up digitally. I know 5 seems small given how many people there are on the internet, but I didn't say 5 people forever and that's it, did I? Start with 5 people brands on different levels of their social journey. My 5, to give you a concrete example, are Marie Forleo, Amanda Francis, Farnoosh Torabi, Cosmopolitan, and Oprah. I do this with my private clients. We go through a this or that type of list until we find 5 people that resonate with them in terms of social media activity. So as you can see from mine, the 5 people are mostly, personally branded individuals, but I picked Cosmo because Cosmo crushes it. BuzzFeed, there's a lot of different brands that maybe are not in your space or really are not like you at all, but they can give you a sense of what really good brands are doing, and how you can replicate that for yourself. So finding 5 people allows you to stop spending hours scrolling for content examples when you sit down to create your content. You can even set up alerts for these 5 people when they individually post. I'm going to show you how to do that really quickly. And I don't even have to leave the PowerPoint. Thank you, screen grabs. So let's say you're going to somebody's Twitter account and you want to follow them. You can click the gear icon and then click turn on mobile notifications. And that will give you the ability to get a notification every time they tweet. And then you can see the structure of their tweets and how they do it. You can also do this with Facebook, but I think it's more effective on Twitter because usually people share sometimes a little bit less, or it's just more content that you really want. So that's something that you can do. Again, back to time-saving techniques to navigate the noise. So that's managing your notifications is something that I want to talk to you about. I want to make sure we have time for more Q&A and to go through the rest of the slides. So I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but essentially make sure that push alerts on your phone don't slow you down. You want to make sure that they're efficient. So I tend to only have a VIP email list. Everything else I shut off. And I think that that's a really good tip. The next thing we're going to talk about is content that makes you shine. This is a meme, and a very adorable one at that. The way that you find content that makes you shine is you look at different feeds, you look at different blogs, but the best way to start is to pick 3 things that you're going to talk about in January. December is here. Everyone's talking about the holidays. Let it go. Just post organically for the rest of the month, unless you're like me and you really want to get on track. Then I have another surprise for you. And start focusing on how you'll put these plans into place come January. Fresh start, clean notebook. So how will you do it? Well, start by using Feedly. Feedly is an RSS service that I really like. You can use it for any reader. RSS readers pull in content from blogs that you like. It gives you a paragraph and image per article, Feedly, for example, and lets you create a homepage filled with content that you need to see on a daily basis. Once you have the 3 things you're going to talk about in January, pick 10 blogs on Feedly that will give you the content you need to react to. Then go to Google Trends and see if any of these topics are trending or have been trending. Then check Facebook, where the trends are up in the upper right-hand corner, and also Twitter. Trends are usually left-hand corner, right underneath your profile box. Sign up for newsletters. For the newsletters of your 5 brands, so the 5 people or brands that you're following, definitely get those. Get the competitors and news in your industry. Max out at 10 newsletters per month so that you plan to actually read. And the skim should totally be part of that because it's a great way to get news really fast. Then go through your idea bucket and put your personality into it. Get quirky. That's how you shine online. You wouldn't be here if you didn't like my weird definitions and explanations. So I want to give you the best sense of me, and that's what I want you to do with your brand. That's why personality is the one way to get your content to really shine. I'm going to jump back into questions really quickly. I know I was supposed to leave them to the end, but whatever. We're doing it my way. Scheduling Instagram posts for the company page, it's actually not available on Hootsuite. The way that Hootsuite works with Instagram is that it reminds you to post. So we'll actually send you a push alert and say, hey, now's time to post. What good is that? How is that helpful? Schedugram is my favorite. And if you use the code InstaVix, you'll get $5 off. Full disclosure, I also get $5 off, but it is a great scheduling tool because it makes sure that the posts go up at the time you designate. The only caveat with that is that you want to make sure that you are also doing some real engagement. So you're logging into the company's page and liking posts or commenting on posts. You just want to make sure that you're doing that so that people can also see that you're active, because otherwise Instagram will flag you as a fake account and you don't want to be a fake account. So next up, I'm going to talk to you about what you're searching for. Do you want more influencers? Do you want more content? Do you want more followers? Of course you do. You want to find ways to quickly find these people and get more hours in the day, because don't we all need more hours in the day? The only way to truly get more hours in the day is to make sure that you have your plans and your system in place. I'm going to just run through the rest of the questions really quickly. And I want to talk to you really quickly about downloading YouTube videos and uploading to your Facebook business page. If you own the video, you can do that. If you do not own the video, you can't embed it natively. There are legal issues. You don't ever want to do content jacking, which is what I just talked about, or what I just showed you in the slide. Content jacking is when you steal somebody's content and don't give them credit. If you stole my content and you didn't give me credit, I would not be happy. And nobody else is going to be happy. And if you're trying to build a connection with your, See, the app gets you. If you're trying to build a connection with people, you want to make sure that you're doing it the right way. And if you steal their content, they're not going to be happy. So don't download YouTube videos and upload them to your Facebook page. What you can do instead is download or embed them on a blog. So you can embed them on your business page's blog, and you can share that post to Facebook. which will also allow you to put your own image in there, especially if you use it on your business page. And I think that that is just a really helpful way. If you give them credit very clearly, I still think there are issues with downloading somebody else's video. I know that, for example, one of my clients, they asked me to do that. The people had given them license rights. So the person who created the video said, sure, you can embed this. Facebook actually flagged it. So you don't want to end up in that position. I think that the best way to go would be the blog, because that's also a really great way to give some link love, which is something I talked about in another Daily Vix. My thoughts on Buffer for Twitter. Not a huge fan. Used to use Buffer a long time ago. It did help me grow my brand. The thing that I think might be helpful if you're trying to use Buffer is to determine what you want to use Buffer for. Do you want to use Buffer for extra content? Then you can take the time a little bit and batch post. That's what the editorial content calendar is about. If you want to use Buffer to share more posts from different blogs or feeds, you can do that. You can do that in other ways. I think it's better because one of the best pieces of advice that I can give you is that you always want to drive people home. Whether your home is your Facebook fan page or your website, you always want to drive people back to some place where you can engage with them and make a connection. So if you're driving, why would you give up the real estate of using Buffer to drive to somebody else's website? Now, don't forget, you can add more questions, but for the next 15 minutes, I just want to talk to you guys really quickly about digital domination, because as you saw, I have a special offer for you guys. And I think that this program kind of gives you a good sample of, what I do and how I manage my clients and how I explain the way things are managed. But I just want to give you a little bit more of an overview. So digital domination is 6 weeks to social media success. It starts with what is social media marketing. It's 6 weeks, 6 group calls, demo videos, and a lot more. I talk about trends. I'm going to talk about using influencers. I'm going to talk about a guide to managing your social strategy, a little bit more on the what to do, what not to do. And then, we're kind of going to get into a little bit of paid media, because paid media is why you guys are here. I actually ran a conversion campaign and was able to do it pretty low, which was kind of awesome. Paid media is great. Facebook ads are a great way to grow your list, a great way to find new people, and a great way to just share your content. Also, the slide thing is a little weird. So we're going to talk about that, because I'm definitely going to send you guys some best practices for a webinar, because webinars are also a really great way to work with people. And we're going to talk about that in week 6 with the growth strategies. So today, if you want to register for the next 72 hours, I'm giving you my course for $9.97. It's usually $19.97 on my website, because once I built out the course, I realized how packed it was going to be. The videos are custom. There's like a whole bunch of stuff, and I can't wait to share it with you. But I want to talk to you a little bit more about, so if you go to, it's dominatedigitalmedia.com/offer, that's where the offer is. And I just want to talk to you a little bit more about what's included in that. So also, if the first 5 people who register now will get a one-on-one laser session with me. And I've done this with a few people. And the awesome thing about laser sessions is that it gives you a chance to really understand what you want to do for your brand. I can give general tips, which is what I did tonight. But if I get to know a little bit more about your brand specifically, I can give you specific tips. So the additional bonuses that you get: editorial calendar planning audio. It's very funny. You're going to get access to a private Facebook group if you sign up in the next 72 hours, where I'll do some custom videos more than digital domination. And then we're going to have 1 year of monthly group calls after the 6 weeks are over. Again, $9.97 or 3 monthly payments of $3.97. We're going to talk a little bit more about what that includes. This is the whole offer. And I'm going to come back to you with that shortly. But let's talk about week 1. Week 1, by the end of week 1, you're going to understand the difference between a content creator and a curator, and what that means for your brand, how to determine what networks work best for your business, and what types of content you should be sharing. As you can see, I love my clients because I think that they are more than clients. They're invested partners in the building of your digital brand. So traditionally, I would just leave this up and say, go buy my webinar. But because I'm me, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I worked with Shira, because she's awesome. I mean, all of my clients are awesome, but I, helped Shira a little bit with a content campaign. And the most impressive thing is that she is an incredible partner in the building of her brand. The best thing that we did is that we started to do some videos embedded in her Facebook page. And in like 3 days, she got like her engagement increased over 50%. And it was just a really great experience to see how quickly you can do things when you're able to, find somebody who really is invested and wants to, understand the building of a digital brand. She kind of lets me do whatever I want. Oh, now we're losing this, which I think is very helpful. So, a lot of times I have to test, and I have to go back through this because it flipped out. I have to test things, just like I tested this webinar 4 times, and it doesn't always stay and do what I want. So that's what week 1 is going to be, how it can help your business. Week 2 is going to be about minimum effort, maximum return, which is my plan. You'll be able to create a social media calendar, and we'll go over in one of the group calls your calendar. That's the best part about having access to this Facebook group, is that you can throw questions in there whenever you want, and I will answer them. I will answer questions about your editorial calendars. I'll answer questions about your posts. I'll help you tweak them to work with you to really get that organic reach. When I worked with the Snug, I was able to keep their reach over 500,000. And on Twitter, we were able to get some key engagements. So we were able to get some really big people to retweet us. And that's something that I will teach you in week 2. Week 3 is going to be about using influencers specifically. You'll understand what types of influencer marketing what types are popular, how to leverage the right one. And really the best way to describe that is with my former manager, Anthony. I don't know if he actually made it on tonight, but he knows that I hate PowerPoints. So I think this is really funny that I created this ridiculously long PowerPoint. But essentially, you'll understand how we work together with influencers. So because I've been on both sides of the table, I can help you do that. And because I really love digital, I can find other people who really love digital, and I'll teach you how to do that as well. Week 4, Trends on Fleek. If you don't know what On Fleek is, you'll know what it is by the end of week 4. You'll learn how to reach out to like-minded individuals to connect with them and offer content strategies and sharing programs that benefit both parties. So you can, there's ways to share content with people who have a bigger following than you. You can write a blog for them, or, you can write a blog for them like I did for Classy Career Girl, which was a wonderful experience. I wrote a blog for them, and then we jumped back and she shared a little bit more. I just got that other question. Can you go over your Twitter guide? Yes, we can go over the Twitter guide. I do just want to go through the last 2 slides, and then I will go over the Twitter guide because we have about 10 minutes left. Paid advertising. We're going to go into a paid advertising deep dive, a terms guide, which is just like my Twitter guide. And then week 6 is going to be growth strategies to help you reach more of your audience. This is my favorite quote. It's on my desk. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. And that is what I'm going to teach you, because social media is overwhelming and a lot of people get afraid. And I don't want you to be afraid, because it's social and it's fun. And that's the whole point. So again, this is the offer. You guys can look it up. I'm going to email it to you again. But I just wanted to share that. And we're going to do Q&A, and I'll go into Twitter guide because I'm extending it 15 minutes because you let me pitch to you, and I think it's only fair that we extend it a little bit. So there's no name associated with going over the Twitter guide, but we can talk about it a little bit. So if you tell me exactly what you want to know, I will tell you. But essentially, the way that my Twitter guide works is when I got to live with Kelly and Michael, a lot of people had a hard time figuring out how to use Twitter, how to talk about Twitter. Twitter is not an easy thing to understand. So what I did was that I created this guide, and it's a guide of terms. So it explains what you do, what you post, how you post. I'm going to pull it up now. If you guys have any other questions, get them in there. Like I said, I'm going to extend this to 8:15, 8:30. I'm here to answer your questions because I really want to make sure that you get the most out of this. Again, the offer is just secondary. So let me get my Vix guide to Twitter up so that I can talk to you about it. The thing that I'm doing, which I'm not showing you because it's hot in New York and I have the air conditioner on, so there would be way too much background noise, is that I brought up my script on my iPad so that I can be like a little bit more connected with you guys. All right, so let's talk about how to Vix your Twitter. Vix, if you don't know, kind of came together because my friend started calling me the Olivia Pope of social media. And I was like, that's not original. We got to be original. So I started saying, we will Vix you up. So because it's Vix, get it? It's like a play on words. It's a very social media marketing thing. But the Vix your Twitter guide is the best way to help you understand what you should do. So it talks about what an about me is. An about me is, it's your Twitter calling card. I think that's the best way to talk about it. You can put hashtags in there. That's what I really like about the Twitter bio, is that you can actually put hashtags in it to find new people. Twitter is a great tool. Hands down, great tool. The most difficult thing these days versus when I started building my Twitter account is that digital is really a pay-to-play world. You really have to pay to get followers. If I have, and you're not paying for followers. So there's a difference. Let's talk about that a little bit. If you're going to buy followers, which can be done, and I've tested it and I don't really like it, you actually buy accounts to follow you. If you pay to advertise to new followers, you are paying to advertise to like-minded people based on a certain amount of selections that you make in the targeting process. You can get about 100 new followers a month for about $70 a week. And the only issue with that is that unlike buying followers, you can literally go on a website and buy a block of 30,000 followers, and then you have 30,000 followers on Twitter. That's super lame, because if you do that, they're not real followers. Most of them are bots. When Twitter first started, there were a lot of quote unquote bots on the internet, which ranged from people's cats to their toilet bowls. So you don't want to end up with some trashy accounts. One of my first internships actually was deleting all of the adult entertainment channels from someone's Twitter account. So that was an interesting experience. And I learned that, the quality of your Facebook, of your Twitter followers, the people you're following on Twitter, of your Twitter tribe, if you will, is as important as the quality of your, the tweets that you put out, because you don't want to put them out to fans who are a little, who aren't going to really read them. So if you put, let's say you're doing fitness, or let's say that New York is part of your brand, or let's say that you are building a brand in Boston, another big city, or if you're focused on, life after 50, or, being a mentor, or the power of mentorship, you want to make sure that those types of things are in your About Me on Twitter. Now, you don't want to have more than 5. Again, it's only 140 characters, so how many can you really put there? So you want to make sure that you're putting the right amount. Let's talk about the avatar or main image. This is another, I guess, this may be another definition that I should give you guys. If you like these definitions, put yes in the comments, because I will just make sure that I keep creating these. I'm coming up with a landing page for all of my freebies from 2015 as a New Year's gift, and I think that I'm definitely going to include some new PDFs with definitions. But if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll get the Twitter guide, which has that PDF, which has that definition right in it. Avatar or main image. The photo on your Twitter page is known as the avatar or profile picture. You have an avatar on WordPress as well when you do blogging for yourself or guests. And it should be, a fairly professional photo. I try to keep all of my social channels that match with matching photos. So all my Vix in the City handles match, my CreatiVix handles match for the most part. They're either one or two options. So you want to make sure that it looks really professional. The size varies. You can upload a fairly large photo and crop it down. The only thing that you have to be really careful about with sizing is your Twitter header. It's actually really easy to upload your Twitter header from your mobile phone, iPhone specifically, because it just auto sizes it for you. But if you're uploading it from the dashboard, you want to make sure that you do it at 15 pixels by 500 pixels. You can have some fun with it. Mine are fun. I think it's great to do a new photo. I try to change them seasonally, or when I have new products to promote. I'm really glad that you guys love the definitions. Yay! Thank you. Please put more questions, because I'm serious. I do really want to stick around. So, I'm happy to go through the Twitter guide, but if there's anything else you want to know, please throw the questions in there right now. I'm looking at the question console, if you will. I love sounding so official. Posting to Twitter. So TweetDeck is one tool that I referenced in the slides but didn't talk about. TweetDeck is a free tool. It didn't used to be owned by Twitter, but then Twitter bought it out. And essentially what it is a scheduler. It's really awesome because it's technically a native scheduler. And so there are no Hootsuite issues, and you can use TweetDeck without anyone blowing up your spot. I feel like sometimes we all want to be, schedulers under the radar, which is a little ridiculous because we are really all busy. But the networks do bang you for that. So, if you use TweetDeck, it's a great tool. It's free. The only issue is it doesn't have a mobile component. So if you're trying to share on mobile, Sprout Social or Hootsuite. I'm really not on the Hootsuite train these days. I used to be. What I like about Hootsuite and TweetDeck are that they help you do Twitter chats really well. So you can create a column for the hashtag of the Twitter chat, and put yes in the notes in the comments if you want me to do Twitter chats in 2016. I've been kicking it around. I think I'm gonna guest on a few first, but I really think I'd love to run my own if there are people who are interested. So put yes in there. Just let me know what you think, or tweet me at Vix in the City at CreatiVix Media. And so if you're using TweetDeck, you can also monitor your hashtags. So for example, digital domination is a hashtag because it's a product that I'm selling versus a company that I've created like CreatiVix. CreatiVix Media is a handle. I grew that handle from scratch. Melanie, I like your question. Working for a B2B company, what do you feel about following your competitors on social media? Are there strategic ways to have a louder voice on social media without copying their strategies? So working for B2B, that's always a challenge. What I think the challenge about that, the most challenging thing about that, is that you don't want to copy them, but there are only so many ways to skin a cat. Like, how many different campaigns can you do? Especially if you have a low budget, how many types of things can you replicate? So I follow everybody. I actually used to create a list that was private, so you can do that on Twitter. And I actually will do a demo video for the Daily Vix on how to do that because I think it's really helpful. And that would be something that I would probably put in the digital domination group, just saying. But the strategic way to have a louder voice is to make sure that when you're sharing, like I would use the same hashtag, but not tag them. So if you're using their hashtag, I would say, like, if let's say their hashtag, share a Coke. I wouldn't tag Coke or tag anyone that you're copying, but I would use their hashtag and try to post a few more times in there. The other thing too is you want to make sure that when you follow your competitors, if you do it in this list, you can hide it so no one knows that you're following them. And also don't call it like competitors. Call it something like brands I like to watch or something like that. I always did it on my main handle. I actually never had two Twitter handles until I had the company handle. But I never really had any issues with that. You want to make sure though that in your about me, you always have, content equals mine or content does not. Like this is the longest one. I usually just literally do content equals mine. Some people do content does not equal opinion of the employer, but like, why are you going to give your employer that much space? So Melanie, I hope that was a helpful answer. I know it was a little long. Launching the company name out there to gain subscribers when you launch in January. Focus on one media outlet or go for the big three. Depends on what the company is. It depends on what the company is. If you're selling a product, you want to make sure you're on at least Facebook. if you should reserve all the handles when you're launching your company to gain subscribers. The best way to gain subscribers, and I think you mean newsletter subscribers. Again, your name didn't come through. I don't know why, but if you mean newsletter subscribers, then Facebook ads, and a newsletter list and a newsletter campaign with a lead page are the best ways to do that. Okay, any more questions? Do we have some more? Otherwise, I'm going to go back to Twitter. I actually do want to also touch on some of those tools that I was talking about earlier so that I can give you a little bit more of an in-depth definition and explanation of why I use them. Again, anybody can use any tool. Everybody has their own tools. I use my tools because they work for me and they're really easy to understand. Websites, for example, I use WordPress, but I also use Entreport. I finally took the leap and bought Entreport. If you're doing any sort of subscription services, you need to use a full on content and customer relationship management system. You want to make sure you're using something like Entreport or GetResponse or something like that. Okay, what's the best way to gain Instagram followers? Use hashtags. The best way to gain Instagram followers is to use hashtags because hashtags are how you're organically found. Some of the most popular hashtags, write this down: hashtag passion project, hashtag love, hashtag Insta Daily. IGers NYC is a really popular one. Most of the cities had their own, and all that means is Instagrammers, New York City. Hashtag OOTD, outfit of the day. Doesn't work for everybody, but is a popular one. Hashtag LOTD, look of the day. Again, doesn't work for everyone, but is a popular one. The ones that I recommend across the board to clients to give that personality in the content that makes them shine, is Motivation Monday, Monday Motivation, and Wisdom Wednesday. Motivation Monday and Monday Motivation each have over 1 million tags. It doesn't matter which you use, and you should be using both, but on the same post. So the way that I do it is you put 1 or 2 in the caption, and then you put up to 11 in a comment. That is the quickest and easiest way to grow on Instagram. For example, when I shared that post a half hour before my webinar about the best ways to connect, about what I was doing, I had my water, the whole 9. In 33 minutes, I got 45 likes, and I got somebody else to sign up for my webinar. Just because I used the right type of hashtags and the right amount of them. That is the best way to grow on Instagram. On Twitter, if you're using hashtags, don't ever use any more than 3, because studies show that tweets with 3 or more hashtags decrease in engagement, and it is 3 is the number. It's really weird. I don't know why. I guess people it's hard to read. That's the thing with Instagram too. I know people love to put a lot of hashtags, but that's why I put them in the comment, because it's really hard to hashtag read, hashtag the article, hashtag everything that I want to tell you, hashtag can you understand this? It stunts the reading. And remember, we're always thinking about the human element when it comes to social media. So if it's hard for you to read, why would you think it would be easy for your followers to read? You want to make sure that it's always a manageable and pleasant experience, because you don't want to end up with followers who are confused by you. And that's something that I struggle with. Writing this presentation for you guys, it was hard because I'm really close to this and I kind of get caught up in it. So I guess that brings up another part of my plan. It sounds like a take over the world plan a little bit, right? So, for me, I have what I like to call a focus group. Some of my friends don't even know they're in the focus group, even though they are a grandfathered member of the focus group. And what I do is I share things with people and I say, hey, if I said this to you, what do you think of? Or if I say, hey, how are you sharing this or that? Create that group of people. And, if you join my Facebook group, it's Vix Your Life is the Facebook group. you can jump in there, request to be added in there. You can ask me questions in there, and I'll definitely answer you. Again, that's part of the Digital Domination offer as well. And that group has a little bit of a different flow to it because it is all about questions, and it is all about learning. Whereas the Vix Your Life group is more about learning from each other. And that's, I hope that the people in my Digital Domination course will also learn from each other, because that's the point. You can't do social media if you're not learning from other people. Okay, I see that we still have a bunch of people on. So guys, come on, ask me your questions. I'm going to give you to 8:15. So if you have any more questions, put them in the Wednesday hashtag. Wisdom Wednesday, Wendy. Thank you for asking. It's wisdom. I'm going to type it to you. Oh, no, can't do that. Don't reopen. It's wisdom, as in like she has a lot of wisdom, Wednesday. And it's a really great hashtag because it's mostly focused on quotes. Levo League at LEVO LEAGUE does a really good job of meme/quote cards. For that hashtag in particular. You can also use hashtag QOTD, and that's quote of the day. You can also write that out. Anybody else? Any more questions? Anything else? I'm gonna check my Facebook messages in case there's any questions in there. Any questions? Let's see if there's any tweets. Anybody, because you guys weren't supposed to be tweeting, but if you did tweet, I'm not going to not answer the questions. Any other questions, guys? I really want to make sure that this is a valuable experience for you. So if there's anything else you want to know, just put it in the question box and I'll help you out. All right, guys. And all right, any more? Last call for questions. Last call. All right. Well, I want to just thank everybody for sticking with me and for letting me be me. And I'll see you on the Daily Vix. Thank you for letting me pitch Digital Domination to you. And don't forget, you can go to my website to learn more about that, dominatedigitalmedia.com. And the offer, you'll get an email and also you get a recording. So stay tuned for that. And what's your favorite social media campaign? All right, I'll answer this one because it's early. My favorite social media campaign, that's such a hard question. I think it depends. I think that there are some really great editorial takeovers. I really like when Cosmo does their, they do Guys with Cats, which is weird. Oh, lost connection. Let's see. Hold on. Can you guys still hear me? Everything looks good on this end. I did decrease the, yeah, everything looks good on this end. Can you guys still hear me? Let me know. My favorite social media campaign. Let's get back to that. I'd have to say Barbie's new campaign. I really like that. They're doing some great stuff with video. Garnier Fructis does some good stuff. The Dove campaign was decent. And yes, Wendy, you'll get the PDF file for the definition of terms through email. You guys are going to get a bunch of emails from me in the next few days. So stay tuned for that. And then I think I'm also going to put you guys into the, into my, my welcome campaign again, just so that you guys can get all the great files that are in there. And okay, great. Glad. Thank you guys. You're the best. Yes, you'll get all the definitions and all the emails and all my updates. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed this. Do you guys have any other questions or comments or things that I can answer? We've got about 4 minutes left. If there's anything else that I can help you with, would love to. So weird. I'm not sure why. Anything else? Any other questions that I can help you guys with? All right, great. Well, like I said, I wanted to just thank you for taking the time to connect with me. Oh, Melanie, thank you. Yes, if you guys have any questions about anything I shared, you can email me, hello@creativixmedia.com. You can Facebook message me. My personal Facebook page is Victoria Vix Reitano, and you can definitely send me a message. But I'm looking forward to learning more about you guys. I really would love to connect and understand the best way to help you. So definitely reach out. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. Again, hello@CreatiVix Media is the best way to get in touch with me. And I hope that this was helpful. And I will see you guys shortly. I will see you guys on the Daily Vix.